You're listening to the British Baseball Podcast. And joining me on this episode of the British Baseball Podcast, I'm joined by Kent Mariners outfield villain Scott McKay. Scott, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Matthew.
Lovely stuff. And you're here today to tell us a little bit about the Mariners and also to discuss with this interesting partnership you've developed with a team in the Frontier League over in the States. But before we do that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your team? So, Scott, for the good listening people out there, tell us a bit about your baseball and background.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Matthew. It's great to be here and to talk to you. Basically, my journey in baseball started when I was in my hotel room working away. I was up in Manchester, actually, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and Fernando Tatis Jr.'s highlights hit my timeline. And then from there, I was just like, that really hooked me. It was high octane plays and, some home runs and all of this stuff. And I just needed to get involved. From there, I then, there and then basically sent a message to the Kent Mariners. And within within an hour, I'd set up my first training session and then went from there.
So you found your home now with the Mariners. What can you tell us a bit about your team down there in Kent?
Yeah, so we are the Kent Mariners. We are based around Aylesford, and we take our name from the maritime history within Medway and that area. It really is, pays homage to dockyards, obviously in Chatham, and the maritime history of building the ships and things. Founded in 2002. It's had a bit of a up and down history in terms of its achievements, but most recently we ended the season with a .600 record. That's rebounding from a 1-win year the year before that.
Oh, there's a turnaround. What are your own personal goals and ambitions for this season?
For this season, as a club, we've decided. We obviously talked our goals collectively, and we want to hopefully push for a playoff place. It's going to be hard going. There's some good teams in our southeast single A down there, but personally, I just want to keep going. Giving my all, both on and off the pitch. So, performing well, but also pushing the name of the Mariners and the sport of baseball out there to our local community.
Great stuff. So, tell us about this interesting partnership, or how are you describing this? Well, take it away. It tells the story behind the Lake Erie Crushers and the Kent Mariners.
So I started in the marketing role for the club. I was voted onto the committee in December, and we I was racking my brains a little bit and say, what can we do to kind of raise the profile of baseball within the UK? Obviously you look to the States because that's where it's the biggest, it's the biggest market over there for baseball. So what we decided to do was to basically, it was an off the cuff remark by one of our finance guys. Can't we link with somebody in the States? And that really got the mind ticking. And we started to reach out to a couple of teams, but we wanted to get away from obviously the legalities of MLB and the minor leagues, because it can get quite choppy in those kind of circumstances. So we started to look towards independent baseball. Not a lot of people know about the independent leagues over here, so it was a nice opportunity to kind of highlight that. We reached out to the Lake Erie Crushers because we loved the colour scheme. We loved their logo, which is a grape and holding a baseball bat. It looks really kind of fun, and it's really in tune with what we wanted to achieve. We want to make the sport accessible for all, and we want to have fun doing it. And I reached out, sent an email to the owner and president, Tom Kramig, and within 24 hours he emailed back and said, right, let's do it, we're all in. And we've had Zoom calls and subsequent conversations since then. and it's growing, and there's a lot of opportunity going forward.
That's really interesting. What sort of opportunities there are we talking about?
So promotionally, obviously we've got the social media interactions, which helps boost kind of the messaging to both of our audiences. So that's the first kind of main one. But we are looking in terms of promotional stuff with merchandise. So there'll be joint branded merchandise at some point soon. And we have also been talking to them about them hosting us once the COVID restrictions have all kind of finished, and we can get back to traveling. So in some way we will make something work. So that invitation's open, so that's pretty cool.
That's really interesting. What else is involved in the partnership?
So we're also going to do a promotional day at some point in August, and as part of one of our games. So we're going to don the colours of Crushers. We're going to change it up for the day, have a big barbecue, and really kind of celebrate our friends across the pond.
That's really interesting. That's brilliant. So what advice and tips then would you give to anybody that's out there listening to things? I'd love for my baseball club in whatever part of the country to be associated with insert name here in whatever league.
I mean, absolutely. I think it's about being bold is what I would say. That if you send an email and you don't get a response, keep trying. Owners of independent ball clubs want to see the game grow, and that's certainly what we got from Tom Cramig and his team. He's really passionate about growing the sport, and they're baseball people too. So you're a baseball person, reach out to them and ask, see if there are any opportunities there. You will be very surprised at the response you get.
Did you find that approaching with the We're a British Baseball Club as an angle, was that something that you considered, and was there sort of a surprise reaction from that?
There was, yeah. I mean, obviously, but a niche sport over here. Obviously, you've got football, rugby, cricket, and all of that stuff that kind of takes, the participation numbers. They've got a hell of a lot more people. But what we found is that, they really kind of want to explore what the game's like here. So they're very interested themselves to find out how it all works, and what are the teams like, what's the structure of the league, and all of that stuff. So they're baseball people. They want to know more, and they're just really great people.
That's brilliant. That's so good. I just when I saw it announced on social media, I was completely taken away by it, and it's just something I had to know more about. It's so interesting. Have any of the other clubs sort of got back to you that you may have followed up on and been like, oh, sorry, we're Crushers now? Anyone tried to win you back?
No, they haven't. I mean, we sent out a few communications, but to a select few teams, just to kind of test the waters and everything like that. But as soon as we got the response from the Crushers, they were so positive and all in straight away that it was such a natural fit, that we had to. That was it. We wanted them from the start. They were our number one, and that's how it all panned out.
That's brilliant. First shot, first score. But I'd love to know to listeners out there, who are your favorite independent or minor league baseball teams, their logos, and if you could partnership with one of them, who would it be? Let me know in the comments, and let me know in the feedback who it would be. We'll have a nice little chat about it. I love the Odd Sox. I mean, it's just bonkers. I think that the Indian minor league names are brilliant. Here's another one for you. If you could create your own, what would it be? I'd be something like the Lancashire Bacon Butties or something. Just like something that would represent the area.
There was one team that they've just renamed, and I can't think of the location name, but they're the Sock Puppets.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Sock Puppets. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I think the closest we had something like that was the Bolton Robots of Doom, rest their ball club. which is superb. But yeah, thanks, Scott, for coming on and tell us all about it. Tradition on the show for the guests to have the final word. Is there any shout outs you want to give or any parting advice? Anything you want to say?
I just want to give a big shout out to my team, the Kent Mariners, who through a difficult time that I kind of started, that really kind of took me on and gave me a massive escape from some issues that I was experiencing. And thank you for having me as a part of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we spoke. I didn't know it was going to be that was on the call today, and I was so happy when I saw your face and your name pop up on the screen, because we've had like communications in the past, and we've shared some off-air stuff between us. And your baseball journey has been a fantastic one, and the sport is lucky to have you in it. So I wish you all the best of luck and the Kent Mariners in the coming season, and I hope that our paths will cross soon. And I'll speak to you later.
Thanks so much, Matthew. Thank you.
No worries. Take care, Tara.
Bye.
Big thank you there to Scott McKay from the Kent Mariners for sharing that little story. That's brilliant. What sort of lengths have you gone through to try and grow your brand for your club? And little Jimmy, if you're out there, your little second base whippersnapper, don't go making like these bold moves on behalf of your club without checking with your coaching staff or your management first to see if it's okay to go and start emailing minor league baseball teams or independent league baseball teams on behalf of your team. Always get permission from whoever pays the phone bill. That's what they used to say back in the day. All right, so I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a lovely week, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Ta-ra.